afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors. This is your closing bell for Tuesday, September 13th, 2022. Yes, I'm back. Had a nice show with Ron M. from A Sports, talking on some NFL breakdown, a little college, but we're hoping to bring Ron on every Tuesday around 3:30, 4:30 East Coast time, as he does an amazing analysis and breakdown and work leading up to the NFL start, the power rankings, how week one went. Myself and Riley haven't done a show in a few days. Got a lot of catching up to do. So without further ado, let's bring him in. From the Windy City himself, I now call him SouthSide Riley, the one and only Mr. Riley Magazine. What's happening, Riley?
My man, I am doing pretty damn fantastic. It is a nice, decent Tuesday afternoon here in the Windy City. Ever since you've been calling me Southside Riley, the moods have been a little bit better on the South Side over here. So whether it's the absence of you know who or the new nickname, I'll take it either way. But got some ground to catch up this week. But good to see a good football weekend. Not my best, not terrible college football Saturday, but, kind of spinning the wheels a little bit, and then a very nice Sunday for myself, as well as I know a lot of people in your camp as well. So ready to get rolling on to the next week. Didn't have too much going on last night in last night's game, but I know a lot of people are hurting after that one with another favorite gone down the toilet. So plenty to talk about, I'm sure, but we've got some decent baseball slated tonight, so I'm ready to rock wherever you are, my friend.
Well, we got a few minutes here before we dig into the board. Let's do some catching up.
Sure.
Saturday, it's a few days back, the college slate. Obviously, the talk of the town was Texas, really. I mean, it's tough for Sark there because you're obviously playing to win, but you could see he was in the red zone area. He just needed that one touchdown because we all knew once Alabama got the ball, they were going to come down, kick the field goal, and the game was over. But some major upsets. A&M losing outright, Notre Dame losing outright. I know I'm missing some. So
Nebraska. Scott Frost out the door. The Sun Belt. Do we need to crown the Sun Belt and give them an auto bid to the CFP or something? What a weekend! That's one of the best weekends that a single lower major conference had in history collectively, I would say, man.
App State, Georgia Southern. Okay. You brought the name up. I'll take the cue from you there. My love for the Nebraska Cornhuskers back to the 80s. I haven't had that kind of love affair with them the last 10 plus years. I talked to a few experts, even when they brought Solich in, it was the 8-3 and we'll get to a bowl game. It wasn't, Sea of Red, national title. We're going to get there. Now the Final Four, they haven't even sniffed it. They moved to the Big Ten. I think they'd be more relevant, obviously, in the Big 12, but for money and where we go nowadays, they go to the Big Ten. I applauded the Scott Frost hiring. I thought, outside looking in, what he did with UCF, I thought it was a good hiring. I thought it would really – not that you need to kick the tires in that fan base, because if you haven't been to a game in Nebraska, the whole town closes when they're at home. Right. You can't go downtown and get anything. So you're either at the game or you're at home. And he got an extra year. He begged, he pleaded. He says, this is our year. Excuse me. Holy moly. So now you start out in Ireland, 10, 11, 12, 13-point favorites, get back down to 10 or 11. You lose outright to Northwestern. It was a long flight back. You had 2 cupcakes set up to get to that Oklahoma game. You muscled through the first one. You lose in the second one, and Scott couldn't even get to the AD's door and beg and say, just let me coach Oklahoma. If I don't beat them, you can fire me. They said, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, you can't. Do you think they make this move if they probably don't make this move if they had beaten Northwestern and are 2-1 at this point, right? They probably don't make that move then, right?
Correct. He couldn't lose to. I mean, theoretically, everyone thought they'd be 3-0. So
Sure.
the opening day loss was, hey, you better not just win, you better destroy these next two teams, and we need a win out of Oklahoma. If not a win, you got to lose in the closing set. You got to be right at that doorstep.
Right, kind of like how Texas just lost to Alabama, right, in a fashion like that, right? So yeah, it's. I mean, obviously you're not, around the fan base right in Nebraska, but do you get the sense that at this point they would be accepting or happy with, just being relevant and getting the 7-8 wins in the Big Ten and kind of like an Iowa level is, or do you think they're still that hungry to get back into, at least top 10, range on a yearly basis for the most part?
I guess you got to be Frank Solich 8-3. Lose to
Yeah,
the Ohio States, maybe
yeah.
lose to the Michigans or the Penn States. You got to win your non-conference games. Get us to 8-3. Get us to a couple bowl games. Humor us like you're competitive.
Yeah.
Not 18-point underdogs at home to Ohio State and that. So they weren't even in that direction because it's funny because you used to have 5 years because it takes 2 to 3
Mhm.
years to get rid of the garbage and to get your players in there. Well, with the transfer portal, it doesn't take that long anymore.
Right. And I was trying to look back. I was thinking about it the other day, and I mean, you said it. They would be more relevant in the Big 12. From someone like me, these teams that have come in recently, Nebraska, Maryland, Rutgers, a lot of the deep-rooted Big Ten people like me haven't really accepted them fully as, a Big Ten team. The biggest relevant game, I think, might have been their first season in the Big Ten. That game, which I think was their first Big Ten game of the season against Russell Wilson in Wisconsin 10 years ago. And that was the point where I was like, all right, let's see what you got, Nebraska. And instead of that, it was the Russell Wilson and Wisconsin show that year, right? And in that game. And ever since, I don't know that there's been an appointment television type game in the Big Ten. Obviously, maybe I'm giving them lack of credit because there's obviously a couple years after that where I think they were still 9 wins. But nonetheless, there's a couple teams obviously that have left the Big 12 that are kind of in that similar range, but I don't know. Maybe they upset the kind of like your baseball attitude as far as fire a coach and then they go on a run. Maybe the Scott Frostless Nebraska Huskers will take down Oklahoma this weekend. I guess we'll see.
Well, the number is dipping down a little too, and they didn't give it to Whipple; they gave it to someone else. Forgot where I was going to go with this. Okay, the rumblings. I talked to someone from the Midwest yesterday, and I asked him point blank, would you pick up the phone, hand a contract to Urban Meyer's agent, let him do his Fox thing this year, and just start recruiting on January 1st? Thoughts there?
I mean, I guess I would pose it back to you. If you're trying to get back to that top 10 perennial range, then I think you have to kick the tires on that. As far as the giant list that I saw, is a bunch of guys that at best are going to get you into that 8-9 win range. If you're trying to really get into that 10+ range, then yeah, I think I don't know any other name that's out there right now that would be even an option that could get you, at least on paper to that level again for Nebraska. So I think if you're really that desperate to get into the national picture, then yeah, I think that's the only name. Because I mean, the other guys, just off the top of my head, Matt Campbell's, all these guys in that range, those are good coaches for sure. The ones that came out in the list the other day, but is that going to get you into that top, 10 picture and competing for the Big Ten and knocking on the playoff door? No, I don't think so. And if I'm any of those guys, why do I want to go to Nebraska at this point? Because, even for my generation, I'm 26, 10 years ago, as someone who was, obviously I study a lot of, sports history, football history. I understand the history of Nebraska, but these kids that are coming up into college football have almost no recollection or no idea that Nebraska was anything what they used to be. So they really see what they've been the last 2 decades. And so I think it's, a fool's gold for just about anyone other than maybe Urban Meyer, who obviously has a lot of baggage. But, I don't see anyone that could return them to that type of glory other than him right now.
The USC job was open last year, and the Penn State coach kind of threw his hat in there like it was, when these coaches looking for contract extensions, more money, They have their agent float their names around, and that was the one job that he would leave Penn State for. And then in comes Lincoln Riley and steals that one. And then, of course, the coach heads back to Penn State. You're right. Urban Meyer has a ton of baggage. He never should have went to the NFL, first of all. Second of all, there were skeletons in the closet at Utah. There were skeletons in the closet in Florida. There were skeletons in the closet of Ohio State. But nowadays, the kids are already getting paid. I talked to this guy from the Midwest, and I was like, the sad part about it is Bill knew all about the skeletons in the closet with Aaron Hernandez, and he still drafted him, and he gave him a second contract. Right. So if you want, I don't even think it's a PR hit if you bring Urban Meyer back. If you want to tell your fan base and the guys cutting the checks, we mean business, that's the one name. That's the only name today I can think of.
I'm 100% with you. If you're a Nebraska fan, like I said, if you want to get to that level, and I mean, right, he's got baggage, and if you want to consider it selling your soul, then I think the majority of Nebraska fans would be okay with it if it meant, being in the conversation. Because comparatively to other situations, like you just mentioned, it doesn't really touch a candle to a lot of the situations that football teams, whether it's college or NFL, are willing to bite the bullet on and stomach that, like you said, the PR hit. Would it be a PR hit nationally? A little bit, probably. But, if it's within 2-3 years they're a top 15, top 10 team, I don't think anyone's going to be upset at all. So I'm 100% with you. I think it is at least worth a conversation for sure.
6,133 people went to the D in Fremont Street in Las Vegas and dropped $1,000 on the quest for $6 million and the survivor in the NFL. Just pick one team a week. Simple. No point spread. Just win. Not tie. Just win.
Right.
And you move on. Now they have a couple wrinkles on Thanksgiving where you got to use one of the 6 teams. They have some wrinkles on Christmas Day, and they have a bonus where if you didn't use the Super Bowl teams and you could. Last year, 2 people hit the bonus last year. Okay. But my point is, Riley, you're good at math. 6,133 entered, 2,685 left. That was over 3,250 people are out in week 1.
Wow.
Colts tied. Yeah. Thanks for playing.
That counts, right? Sorry, I'm fairly familiar, but I didn't know what's that tie rules. That's a loss.
Tie's a loss. You got to pick a winner, not a tie. Colts, thanks for playing. Titans, thanks for playing. Niners, thanks for playing. Broncos, those were the big boys.
Yeah.
And then the Panthers was the next one, and then there was a list of others. Talk about Sunday Fun Day, week 1 in the NFL.
I mean, we talk. I think really the Ravens are probably the biggest one that actually took care of business, right? The one that out of all those touchdown or so favorites that look like it might be in trouble, and they're the only ones that maybe if you didn't mention the Bengals over the Steelers, maybe throw the Bengals in that company as well. Obviously you might have the numbers in front of you there, but yeah, you got to be tentative on week 1, man. Those fishy lines typically end up being fairly fishy, and obviously we saw all the names you just mentioned, throw in a couple other ones. The Saints ended up winning, but as far as covering, that was another one. Throw that one in the pile.
That was my dog of the day. We still hit 2 out of the 3 parlays with them catching 7. We bought 1.5, but that was my dog of the day. I talked to you at length about that. Plus 200 on the money line. They were winning the game for 59 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yep, it's that one. I mean, week 1 into week 2, week 2 and week 3 are some of my favorite weeks because of the type of overreactions that we have. Because so many teams, teams that obviously we think are very good come out a little flat in week 1, and then everyone jumps off the ship coming into week 2. So, the Hard Knocks Lions, everyone was all over the Eagles there. The one that I had the Giants plus 5.5. That was my dog that I love there, and I laid the points with the Chargers, and then I took the under on the Bears and Niners. I obviously had the inside edge on the sloppiness, waking up and walking outside there that morning. So I figured that one might be a good one to go for. But we didn't mention the how many people. Do you have the numbers as far as who was on what? How many people were on the Patriots in in that week at all. I mean, obviously, a lot of people still believing in the Patriots. I mean, they were underdogs, obviously, but obviously did not. I don't know. I know you were you had them projected fourth. Was that about what you expected there in week one?
About that, yeah. But the funny thing is, they're 1.5 point favorites at Pittsburgh, which
Yeah.
is just mind blowing. Okay, so the breakdown: 1,662 had the Ravens. They move on. 875 had the Colts. 708 had the Titans. 703 had the Niners. 569 had the Broncos. 504 had the Saints. How lucky are those guys?
Wow.
460 had the Bengals. Chiefs and Eagles combined about 300. My play in my local survivor, I was the only one to take them, was the Commanders. And 100 people had the Commanders. 82 had the Panthers. My dog of the day was the Browns. Nice field goal there to end. The only other two losses, 8 had the Jags, 5 had the Texans, 4 had the Rams, 3 had the Lions, 2 had the Jets, 1 had the Packers, 1 had the Cowboys. Now, here's the real kick in the nuts. 27 people who went to the window and dropped $1,000 didn't make a pick. They had money to burn.
Interesting. Just yeah, the little donation there I see. But I had good pick on the Commanders. You don't have to sweat any Carson Wentz going forward. I imagine it wasn't the most sweat-free watch that you had there, but good pick there. I mean, yeah, you don't have to worry about him. That was the full Carson Wentz experience there. And as far as that game, I mean, Trevor Lawrence, I think you can still see the potential there, but obviously there's still a few things to iron out and get out of his, the rookie mistakes and rookie tendencies, kind of the happy feet almost a little bit there from my perspective. So I still believe in Trevor Lawrence going forward in the future. But, yes, looks like, he's got to make some strides this year, obviously, to take the leap in year 3, in my opinion, there, Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. All
right. SouthSide Riley. Let's talk a little MLB from Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We took the night off here at ECSI. There was really nothing. I told our clients, our family, that the world was on Denver. Let the public and degens jump in if you wanted to ride what I just told you. There was some overnight Seattle money that came in. They took the 6.5 to a 6, but I don't know how many people actually saw that. You're starting to feel a little comfortable. I think Fangraphs now has you tied to at the end of the season for this. Rumor has it, and I didn't read the article. Sounds like Tito. This might be it for Tito. I saw him retiring soon. I don't know if this is his last year. We've known he's had some health issues as well there. Give us the weekend and Monday talk with your White Sox and moving forward.
Yeah, obviously the day off yesterday, the Tony La Russa, I'm trying to get a temperature of exactly what's going on behind the scenes. He's apparently in attendance tonight and tomorrow against Colorado, 2-game series. Not going to be in the dugout, but in attendance. I have to imagine somebody let him know that he's going to have to take a break before, as long as the boys are playing well right now, which for a second sounded like he was legitimately going to come back. But obviously that hasn't happened yet. So fortunate there. I don't know. I've been looking at this. So we've got a Thursday one-off makeup game against Cleveland this week in Cleveland. And so we've got the 2-game set against Colorado now. Tomorrow's probable starter that has been probable is Dylan Cease against Colorado Rockies. Thursday is Lucas Giolito against McKenzie. Friday, Lance Lynn against, I think, Detroit. Wouldn't you be a little aggressive and try to flip that around a little bit so you can get Dylan Cease starting in that Thursday game against Cleveland, or you let the chips fall as they lie if you're the White Sox and scheduling these pitchers the way they are?
Okay, well, first we got to take care of Colorado. It does us no good to lose the 2 to Colorado and then Thursday. Now, those one-day fly-in games, they're brutal, meaning you're going to finish the series Wednesday night, right? You're going to go to the park to Cleveland. Your bags are getting shipped to Detroit. It's one of these get in, get out. Maybe Giolito is the right move there because you're either going to get smoked or you're going to have the good Giolito.
Okay.
And sticks is sticks. I mean, even if you move Cease and Cease gave up 2 runs, I mean, I'm not saying sticks is going to shut you out, but there is a possibility. So you might want to let the chips
Okay.
fall, but I understand exactly
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would much rather have a Dylan Cease against Sticks because Giolito right now, he's too erratic.
He is erratic. It's felt better than the first half for the most part, and obviously, maybe they don't want to switch it up because I think I don't know if it starts on Monday or Tuesday, but the last series we've got 4 with Cleveland left. It's the one game on Thursday, and then next week. So maybe you let the chips fall as they lie. But yeah, just wanted to bring that up, see what your thoughts there. But yeah, I think with the path, it's all in front of us. Like I said, 4 with Cleveland. I think 6 with Minnesota. Maybe a series with San Diego, and for the most part, a handful against Detroit, which obviously are very winnable games, and then getting the Rockies in our home building these next 2 days is pretty winnable. But yeah, the hope is still there. The hope is still there. I've obviously had a roller coaster season with them. And have had wavering levels of optimism, but we're still holding out hope. As long as who is out of the dugout, I am content for the most part. I mean, there's been 2 or 3 times now over the last 2 weeks. I think the record is it's been a few days since I've double checked that 9-4, 10-4, something along those lines since he's been out of the dugout. And if you want to be critical of the players for not responding to him, you can. But, I mean, Josh Harrison, one of the vets who's been around the league, I don't know if this was today or yesterday, came out and said basically, it compared it to a little kid as far as you can tell a kid one thing so many times and he doesn't listen. And then that one time where somebody else finally tells it to him in the same thing in a different way, they finally respond. He equated that to what's happening with the White Sox right now. And so if you want to be critical of them for not responding to Tony La Russa, go ahead. But it doesn't deny the fact that they're, responding differently now to what's currently happening. So the optimism, like I said, is still there, and we're, we've got a lot of huge games. It's a lot of must-watch games. I'm probably gonna get myself back to the park here at least one more time before the season's done. But yeah, the pitching's got to hold up. The guys are finally starting to hit the ball out of the stadium, which is massive and we hadn't been doing all season long. So getting 3 out of 4 in Oakland and honestly, the West Coast trip we've talked about earlier in the season, a lot of these teams traveling west or all the way east have a lot of struggles. And the White Sox, throughout my lifetime, it's been a house of horrors anytime you go out of the West. So to get 2 out of 3 from Seattle, who's obviously playing really well right now, or at the time had been playing really well, and 3 out of 4 even from a bad A's team. I mean, I can't tell you how many bad A's teams we've let walk all over us when we go over to the West Coast. So to do that at this point of the season and get ourselves back into it is awesome. And I can't remember if it was Friday night or what. The 3-0 5-run 9th inning comeback was the biggest win of the season by far. So it was the best moment of the season for us fans. So I'm still holding out hope. You got to get 2 out of the Rockies. We got Kopech tonight. So hoping we can get these 2, get that one in Cleveland, and then take care of business the rest of the way. So yeah, we're feeling good, but pumping the brakes for the most part, not getting our hopes up too far, I guess is what I'll say.
It's not that you didn't have the talent, you didn't have the makeup. I mean, we've been talking since April and May, the La Russo effect wrote it into the All-Star break. We know that the owner there fired him once. He wasn't going to fire him again. It got to a point where I think they heard enough where it said, "Hey, Tony, it looks like you're a little overtired. Let's take a break. Let's see how this plays out." Team starts to play better. I don't want to say play better because, listen, it's not like you've been mailing these shit games in either. Right. Because I've watched the Red Sox for 135 fucking games. Excuse my French. That's how pissed off I am. Yeah. And now it really sucks that on September 13th, my baseball season's over. Okay. Right. It sucks. And I can't wait till October 6th and 7th to the playoffs because it's shaping up. Listen, Seattle, dangerous. Toronto's hanging around. We know what their offense can do. This Rays pitching staff, they just wheel up new guys and they just continue to win. You add yourself in there with the White Sox, some decent front end. You got a decent back end. You got plenty of offense. I don't want to say a softball team defense, but you tend sometimes uh, I don't want to say take a play or two off. This isn't football or
Oh,
basketball.
it's not to cut you off, but on certain lineups, you sacrifice getting the right offensive matchups and having just horrible defensive alignment. I mean, there's guys that are just out of position for the most part. If you play, I'm sure you don't play MLB The Show, but if you put a first baseman in left field, it gets a big red marker across that says out of position, and it doesn't let you play. And that's basically what we do with Andrew Vaughn half the time out in the outfield. And whether it's that or, I mean, Gavin Sheets and Eloy Jimenez are doing about as much as you ask, but sometimes when you get those guys on the corners and you're playing a team that can smoke the ball into the outfield, it sets you up for some poor defense. So you're absolutely right. It's close to a softball defense at times for sure. I mean, either you're doing like I said, or you're going a nice defense, but you're sacrificing good offensive matchups for the most part there.
Shout out to our producer, the one and only Mr. Kiefer Madness in the house. Kiefer, yes, it's great to be back. I got my sea legs back. I am officially Vegas out. As I told the mayor, it'll take an act of God to get me back to Vegas in a while. It's just, I could talk for hours. It has nothing to do about winning and losing because I spent this last trip mostly creating shows, doing shows, and working. But you only can put lipstick on a pig so many times. And Vegas is Vegas, so we'll leave that there. Board tonight, 2 games final. Pittsburgh wins 6-1 at Cincinnati. Cincy was minus 137 there, so the dog comes home. Game 1, it was a flip. Manoah was supposed to go game 1. They insert Merriweather. Springs and Tampa 4-2 win. Basically a pick 'em there. Jays a slight favorite. Now in comes game 2, Manoah and Chernos. Now the doubleheader theory. Watch the first game. Whoever loses in the first game, you go back and you play them in the second game. Now, we don't run to the window minus 200, 180s. So you go to the run line, hope they win by 2 or more. Manoah, lightning rod, started the year, potential Cy Young. I mean, the guy was lights out. We've said he's been leaking oil, hit the wall. Minus 154. Now, I know I'm going to turn the board over to you. You're a smart guy. You've been working with me a long time. You always say to me, is this a Tampa line or a Toronto line? So before you ask me, I'm going to ask you, is this a Toronto or Tampa line?
I mean, by golly, you can catch the Toronto Blue Jays minus 1.5 at a nice crisp plus 125. That doesn't sound too terribly unenticing, but no, I mean, it smells. Who is this Chirinos guy up against Alek Manoah, who's found his form recently in his back? I mean, no, I'm 100% with you. This one stinks pretty heavily, so I will not be back in the old Manoah show and the Rays in this one, but. A nice plus 125 or minus 165. No, thank you.
You get the gold star of the day.
I was. I didn't. The last time when I was looking at these, I didn't have that switch yet. So I'm glad you started right there because I hadn't seen those lines yet since this morning. So, we'll move right along that one then, and then I think here in about 40 minutes the card is starting back up. I guess obviously I had the 2 starting up. The Angels at Cleveland here. I think it's game number 2 of that series. Cleveland gets the win last night. Mr. Mike Trout, I think 7 straight games with a home run. Got one yesterday. They didn't get the win, though. Jose Suarez versus Cody Morris in this one. So I guess it seems too good to be true if you're looking at the Cleveland Guardians, but does that Trout home run streak have anything to do with this line at all, or is that nothing to see at all, and maybe you shouldn't be factoring that into this line here?
Seeing some late money coming in on the Angels. I need to know what the hell's going on there, and I need to dig a little deeper. Is this Tito's last year? Was he bringing this up, trying to get them to the finish line? He has coached and managed his balls off this year. They have some talent. They just don't hit homers. They first and third year to death.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about Cody. Suarez has been okay. I mean, he shows some flashes. The talk is, does Trout make it 8 games in a row? I am seeing some Angel money come in. Again, if you want to back the Angels, the only thing I would suggest is you play the first five. You don't worry about that back end. That back end is horrendous
Yeah.
there. So it's a stay away from me. If you want to go play the Trout home run prop to make it 8 in a row, God bless you. I mean, otherwise, I'm going to stay away here.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been riding that train every single day, then I think you're probably sitting pretty in a different sense. But yeah, no, I'm with you. It seemed a little interesting there for sure as far as the Angels. But yeah, I'll keep my emotional investment in hoping the Guardians drop a handful of games here for my own White Sox sake here. So. Moving on to the next game we got here, 30 minutes after that one, Astros on the road in Detroit. Hunter Brown versus Drew Hutchison. Hunter Brown, only one game under his belt in his career. This is start number 2, 24-year-old. 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks. Against Texas last time out. Now you're getting Drew Hutchison on the other side, who I know you've been interested in fading at times. Obviously, the last handful of games he's been all right, not been quite a punching bag lately, but minus 240, 250 here for the Astros. Is this one all Astros, or is there something else to see with this one?
An overnight number of 220, still 220 at Circa. I don't know what Jeffrey Benson's doing because South Point now to 245. Caesars to 240. So they're either holding back, waiting to keep getting some Houston money, or they're going to make a move themselves. Two things I'd be interested in here, obviously, is what the full game run line is, number one, and number two, what the Astro team total is as well.
I got the Astros team tool on DraftKings here, over 4.5 at minus 140.
So they're telling you they're going to get to 5, a little too steep for me. And the run line?
Full game run line minus 135 for the Astros there.
I mean, you could get Q play both, and if you lose both, you lose 3 units. That's a tough call there. Do you spend the extra 10 cents to get to 5? It was an
not to cut you off, over 2.5 in the first 5, minus 115.
All right. I'll go that route. That's the
that one.
I
think I'm with you on that one. Yeah. I mean, I guess what did they do yesterday? The Astros the day before they were 7-0 against Detroit yesterday, 12-4 the day before that. Any concern that they would regress a little bit, or those numbers just giving you enough confidence there? Hutchison could be due for a stinker.
Hold on. They didn't play them on Sunday, did they?
No, not against Detroit. Sorry, that was 12-4 against the Angels. That's my bad.
They're rounding into form. Maybe Hutchinson has a day. The funny thing is the under-over last night was 7 and a hook. They did move it over in the morning to 8. It is 8 over. If you think, put it this way, if you think that Astros are going to get to 5 or better, you need 3 from Detroit. I'm not calling them the Marlins, but they do have that kind of offense. I think they're rounding in from. I don't know enough about Brown. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say your safest play probably is to take them to get to 5 or better, get the 27 outs and just move on.
Okay, I'm with you on that one. Speaking of Miami, that is the next game up here. Philly at Miami. Bailey Falter, Sandy Alcantara. Sandy's last start was against these Phillies. 6 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs total, 3 of them earned. Miami, 10 runs yesterday, and Bailey Falter has actually been pretty solid lately. What are the thoughts on this one with this Marlins team?
I'm sitting in Vegas. We had this same Alcantara at the Phillies. We had him first 5 plus $100, and they got a 3-1 lead. So you get 3 runs from the Marlins with Alcantara. You're feeling confident. He gives up 2. It's 3-3 going to the top of the 5th. Joey Wendell hits a homer to make it 4-3. So I get to the bottom of the 5th. 1 out, 2 outs. Schwarber up, grounder, error. So now you got a guy on first in a 4-out inning. Next guy, base hit. First and second, 2 outs. Okay. All right. Even if I get a base hit here and it's 4-4, I push as much as I'll be pissed off. It's okay.
Yeah.
Braum gets up, hits a a bomb in the outfield that the outfielder misplays it and he gets a triple. 5-4. Thanks for playing. I lose the first 5. And then the jackass Marlins come back with 2 in the ninth to win 6-5.
This team is this team will piss you off. This team will is probably the most thorn in your side when you bet on them or bet against them team in all of baseball. Any feelings that Sandy bounces back today after that, or do you think it's just a stay away altogether? I mean, 10 runs.
I told you I think the line's short. They want Marlins money. The overnight number was 145. I respect the overnight number. So for all the ECSI family members that got burnt last week when we were in Vegas, I don't have a problem. Let me ask you, what are they giving you for a first 5 number?
First 5 number, let's see. First 5, minus 145, or close to about minus 140, I should say.
Again, I don't like giving out just what are they minus a half run?
Let's see. Minus 105.
They're telling you they're going to win today. So guys, go back, take Alcantara first 5, and if you don't want to lay the juice, just do a half run and pray. I listen. They scored 10 yesterday, which means they'll probably score 3 runs the rest of the week because they average 2 runs a day. So just hopefully. He should be back. He had a couple errors last game. Look for a big performance from him.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to last I checked, he was still the favorite for Cy Young. I haven't checked the last week or so. Is there anyone that's actually going to challenge him for that? I mean, is that what he's aiming for right now? Let's see. He's still minus 175 over here to win that award. So, I mean, is that in his mind at all when he's last few starts here?
Sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. I think I'm with you. First 5 is definitely where I'd go. So, next one, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, game 2 out of this doubleheader. Let's see. Pittsburgh gets the first one 6-1. Luis Ortiz versus Fernando Cruz. This is the debut for Luis Ortiz. Fernando Cruz is, I think, a 32-year-old rookie. That looks like a bullpen day for Cincinnati. Anything to see out of this one? Are you going with the doubleheader flip, or are you moving right along from this one?
This sounds like a late night Showtime boxing match here on a Saturday night.
Yeah, it does.
I know nothing about either one of them. Again, Pittsburgh won the first one. Supposed to go back with Cincinnati in the second game. Under over a 9.5 juice under. 5-4 Cincy. That's all I'll say.
Okay. I'm with you there. Baltimore and Washington is the next one up. Baltimore has been kind of down to earth the last week or two. That wild card hope is starting to slip a little bit. I think it's 5.5 back now of the kind of 3 that are right there. Kramer and Abbott here tonight for the Orioles and Nationals. Is this any value on fading the Orioles at this point in the season where they're at, or whether it's today or in the future, or you believe in them to bounce back a little bit and maybe scrapping a little bit here the next couple of weeks?
I think they had a run, and at the All-Star break when they lost their heart and soul, they lost their closer, that they had enough amongst themselves to rally the troops. They just don't have enough ammo. That's all.
Yeah.
And with that said, the Nationals have been one of those second half last month teams that have actually been pretty scrappy. So the value's actually on the Nationals.
Yep, I was. I mean, we said at the All-Star break, I think that there would be some value in fading the Orioles to some degree, and obviously it's taken a little bit where we're finally getting there, I think. So, I'll be interested in that for sure here tonight. So we already talked about Tampa Bay and Toronto game 2. Anything to add as far as that one is concerned, or should we move along?
No, again, it's a Tampa number. Toronto's supposed to bounce back. They got their ace on the mound. You can't lose 2 to Tampa here. I'm trying to look at some records here. Toronto 79-61, Tampa 78-61. So they're 1 game back. They're 1 game back. No, actually, I'm going to backtrack because I'm looking at Don Best, and they had the same records as they did before. So can you correct me if I'm wrong? They both have 79 wins now. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think after that first one, because I saw on my app my gambling tracker app or whatever had the same thing you just mentioned. I'm looking at ESPN. Tampa Bay, Seattle, and Toronto all have 79 wins. Toronto's a half game. They've got a loss, an extra loss than those two teams. So all three at 79 wins, but Tampa Bay and Seattle have one less loss than Toronto does.
If I'm Toronto, I'm praying, but it's a Tampa number. Now, again, it goes against our double head thought process. I'm not laying the 155. If you want to back Toronto today and you got some cojones, go grab the plus 125 in the run line and pray.
Right, and I mean, even you would like to see the first five be quite a bit longer odds. It's just about identical as the full game, which is always concerning to the most part when you got an ace like this, especially against the Torinos. I mean, if it was up minus 180 or something on the first five, then maybe you might be interested in that first five. But no, I think Manoa might be in for, or maybe Torinos. I mean, he was good his first time out. Maybe he's a stud here tonight. Who knows? But Mets and DeGrom hosting the Chicago Cubs in New York. This is the biggest line on the board, obviously. Minus 410, it looks like here on one of the apps I'm seeing. Looks like up over 400 for the most part. Minus 400 for the Mets and DeGrom. Any way to get into this one, my friend, or is this a just watching and enjoy DeGrom at this point?
Yeah, didn't the Mets lose last night?
They did to the Cubs 2-5.
Yeah. So again, bounce back, get healthy. There's no way for us to play this game. If you want to have some fun, put $10 to make $35 on the Cubs and then move on. There's nothing you can do with this game.
Nope, definitely not. I mean, you could back the Mets offense, but we know how that goes whenever DeGrom's on the mound. So I'll pass on that as well. Going to your neck of the woods, New York, and the Boston Red Sox at Fenway. You got Garrett Cole and Nick Pivetta. Garrett Cole, a lot of rough outings at Fenway Park over the last couple of years. Are we thinking the exact same thing tonight, or is this maybe the time where the tides turn?
We've had severe thunderstorms on the Cape all day, on and off. Tornado warnings here in the state, not around here. My daughter actually just got brought back up to Boston. It would have been a nice drive her up and then head over to Fenway. I wasn't going to fight the traffic, never mind the weather.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for our guys. I just don't see it. Let me see here. Let me do some quick looks. Yankees at 85 wins. I mean, so they're technically 6 games over Tampa and Toronto. I mean, I don't want to say they're in cruise control, but at least they can breathe a little now, because the sky was falling. I'd expect a good bounce back from Cole here. Get in, get out. What do you got on Cole in the first 5?
First 5 is a minus 165 as well. Minus the half in the first 5 for the Yankees is minus 120.
It's not that, it's funny because people say, hey, geez, that's a great line. Go get it. If you read the market and study the market, they want you to say that.
Right.
And, geez, I can get the Yankees minus a half run with Cole and Pivetta on the mound. Go run to the window. You know what? Mother Nature's calling. I'll do a complete pass on this game.
I think I'm with you. And like I said, you had those starts where Cole has rough outings there at Fenway, but, whether it's weather or whether, maybe this is the time where, the Red Sox just don't have the same fire. I don't know. It's a stay away from me altogether on that one as well. So Minnesota hosting the Kansas City Royals. The Twins, one of the colder teams, at least one of the colder contending teams as well right now. They're falling down. Rough weekend against Cleveland. They are hosting Kansas City. Bubic versus Joe Ryan. Is this a good bounce back spot for the Twins, or is this a spot where they might be, or maybe a stay away spot from them altogether until they get things back on track?
Back home against Bubic, and we had been fading them. We've done pretty well with it. Be curious to full game run line and team total.
Let's see. Full game run line for the Twins, minus 110, plus 110. Or the team total over 4.5, minus 120 for the Twins.
Doesn't sound appetizing on any.
No.
I like the 4.5 under minus 130. So then you're getting the plus money to get to 5. The run line. This is let them beat up on Bubic, and then we'll talk about him tomorrow.
Yep, and I mean Joe Ryan last two kind of close to leaking oil a little bit again. 8 hits, 5 earned against the Red Sox. Only 3 hits before earned last time out against the Yankees. So he himself might be waiting until he gets back on track as well. So next one up is Milwaukee and St. Louis. Kind of a last-ditch effort for Milwaukee to get back into the Central, which might be well past their well past possibility. They are still 2 games behind San Diego in the wild card, but they are in St. Louis. Matt Bush versus Jordan Montgomery. And Montgomery, I think just 1 clunker out of looks like 7, I think, starts for St. Louis. The last 2 have been really solid again here. So any faith in the Brewers to scrap back in at least this week, or are you thinking the Cardinals kind of run and hide here today in this week and in the division altogether?
I think you might be onto something here. Meaning, again, Montgomery was Cy Montgomery, had a couple of hiccups. He's back on track. Eight games back in the win-loss column. An overnight number of 180 leaking towards the Brewers side. This is Custard's last stance. I'm not going to release the Brewers. I wouldn't be shocked if the Brewers won tonight. How's that sound?
No, I think I'm with you for sure, because I mean, even if the division's far out of their reach, obviously if they have a good series, they're still 2 games behind San Diego, and can still use this momentum against the Cardinals as if they want to be fueled towards the division and aim small, miss small. If you miss the division, maybe you'll be ready to rock and roll and get into that wild card spot. So I think I'm with you there, but yeah. Matt Bush, not exactly getting yourself really excited over a Matt Bush start necessarily, but, he can obviously get the job done for you. So next one up, I think we've got 4 or 5 left. Oakland and Texas. Ken Waldichuk, Cole Reagans, I think two rookies, if I'm not mistaken. Anything to see here at all, or is this move right along from this one?
Overnight number of -150, corrected number right now on wagertalk.com to a -121. It's an Oakland number. Again, I don't know much about Waldichuk. Reagan's is just, I think Texas kind of sort of going through the motions. It's an Oakland A's number to me.
I'm just doing it. I mean, it's not quite they had 5 straight losses and then beat the White Sox on Sunday. So if you want to buy it close to into your losing streak, get the win. Maybe they do 2 in a row. Didn't play yesterday, but yeah, I think I'm with you. But I'll move on from that one for the most part there. But now going to my White Sox, hosting the Colorado Rockies. Cool versus Kopech on the mound tonight. Over under 8.5 on the full game. White Sox about -200. Are we liking the White Sox chances in this game here? Rockies on the road against righties, not very successful offensively. Is that where you're buying into in tonight, or is the Rockies maybe have some value here tonight?
What do you have for Kopech first 5?
First 5, -195 for the White Sox.
Minus the hook?
135, -135.
That's the play right there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, Rockies on the road against righties has obviously not been very good at all. I'm just trying to get their road record here altogether. 21-46 on the road for the Colorado Rockies. So, yeah, I'm happy we got a couple right-handers on the mound, regardless of who it is tomorrow. If they do what you're saying, it'll still be a righty. So I'm feeling good about that one. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one. Maybe a little the White Sox have been hitting the ball out of the park. Maybe a little left-handed Gavin Sheets to get a bomb there for the White Sox here tonight. We'll see. I think we got 3 more left. The Dodgers are going into Arizona tonight. Kershaw versus Merrill Kelly. Pretty good pitching matchup right now. D-backs cooled off a bit after a nice little toasty, nice warm streak they had there for a week or so. Merrill Kelly last time out, 7 innings, 3 hits, 4 earned runs. It was on 3 home runs, 3 solo shots against San Diego in his last start. And Kershaw over the last 2 has been pretty damn solid. Are you trusting Kershaw to keep it rolling here into through the month here and into October, or is this maybe a little blip before we get through the next couple of weeks and into October for Kershaw and the Dodgers here?
Well, the numbers that you just gave me for Kopech should be the same numbers for Kershaw. What do you have?
Let's see. Gonna take me a second here. Let's see. Like I said, -200 on the full game, -180 on the first 5 there for for Kershaw and minus 125 on the hook.
So again, there's a little slight bias to the D-backs here. Listen, what are the Dodgers playing for? They're 30 games over 500. No one's catching them for the best record. Let me see something for 1 second here.
I didn't see too much of it, but they had them listed as clinched a playoff berth, and then retroactively the league said there was a typo, and they don't actually have the playoff berth yet. So they celebrated, and that was I don't know. I saw that publicly stated, so I don't know what the hell's going on there. But maybe if they win tonight, then it'll be official there.
Well, they've played 140 games. They're 97-43. Okay, so they have 22 games left. Even if they lost the next 22 games, they'd be in the playoffs in my eyes. I don't know who the hell would beat them. But with that said, there's a slight lean. There's nothing to bet here. I mean,
yeah,
the chalk and the D-Gens are going to bet Kershaw first 5 minus the hook. They're going to bet the Dodgers full game minus a run and a half. They're going to bet what's their team? Let me see. What's the under over is? Flat 8. So they'll probably give you team total over 4 minus 130, or did they give you the 4.5 minus 110 or something?
Over 4.5 minus 130 for the Dodgers.
So they're going to get to 5. They're trying to bait you there. And then anyone betting the Dodger run line says Arizona scores 2 or less, maybe 3. So there'll be a lot of Dodger team totals over 4.5 today.
Wouldn't surprise me. I'm not touching it. I'm not saying the Dodgers are going to smoke, but wouldn't surprise me if this is just the get right game for all of the NFL favorite bettors throughout the weekend, and maybe they're flocking to this game here. So I don't know.
I'm going to go Freddie Freeman homer.
Okay. I can see that for sure. 2 more left. San Diego and Seattle. Seattle obviously trying to they're looking fine right now, but obviously trying to solidify themselves. San Diego still trying to fight off the Brewers there. Darvish versus Gilbert here tonight. Seattle minus 112 on FanDuel, I see, is probably the best number that you can get, maybe 109 somewhere else. Total 7.5, 8 it looks like on certain spots. Any way to get into this one? Any which way you're leading between these two teams?
All right. I gave you the gold star earlier today. Giveth, now taketh. Which team is this number?
I mean, it's got to be for Seattle, right? With Darvish on the other side of things? Or am I crazy?
No, I'm looking at the other way, meaning Seattle with Gilbert on the at home, only minus 110. Now you're spot on, by the way.
Yeah.
Darvish is a lightning rod now, and it's a big name, especially for the public. They see Darvish, they see the Padres, they flock. But if anyone's been watching baseball, they know what Seattle's been doing. They're at home, and Gilbert's one of the young up-and-coming studs. I thought it was more of a Padre line, but I can see both sides. Meaning, I think Vegas is baiting you on Seattle here, but I could be totally misreading it here.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I think personally, I have Darvish cooked up a lot higher than a lot of people at this point. Honestly, you and I have talked, and I've been a lot more bullish in certain spots with Darvish. So I think that might just be me personally with Darvish here. So, no, I think that absolutely makes sense, especially at the point where, like I was saying, they're trying to solidify their spots. So, didn't get the gold star from you, obviously, but yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm interested in Darvish. Yeah.
See, that's how certain pitchers are to everyone here. This is what makes baseball so intriguing, because I could be down on someone and you could be up on them. And certain guys, like I like to say, are lightning rods.
Yeah.
You just auto bets. And to me, I could also look at it this way, say, holy shit, I can get Darvish at plus money. Are you kidding me? So you're spot on. You still get the gold star of the day, by the way. That is not going anywhere.
The other one I think was about a little more glaring than this one, but San Diego. Obviously, we've talked about them. Haven't gotten their full stride since the Soto and Tatis double news right away. So it could be an interesting series here. And they is this? Do you know if this is 2 or 3 between these two teams here this week?
I don't know actually.
It's just 2. It's just 2 today and tomorrow.
Who do you have for pitching tomorrow?
Let's see. Tomorrow it's going to be an afternoon game. Clevenger versus Castillo.
So Castillo going to be a big favorite.
Yeah.
So Darvish looks even better now.
Okay, I'm with you. I like it. You had me. I obviously was interested in the Darvish there. So, last one of the evening, Atlanta going into San Francisco. This is the second game of this series. San Francisco got the win last night. Kyle Wright versus Jacob Junis. Kyle Wright 17-5 record. Atlanta about minus looks like 170 on the money line in this one. Is that a fair line, or is this maybe any interest in San Francisco there?
Didn't Wright get blown up last start?
Let's see. I believe you are correct. Yeah, by Seattle, by Oakland. 4 innings, 5 hits, 8 earns, 3 walks, 4 Ks.
The win total in the MLB right now, if I'm not mistaken, both Verlander and Gonzalez are at 17 and both on the IL. Wright is stuck on 17. So he could go and vault to 18. You said San Fran won yesterday. Interested in the first 5 and the full game run line.
Okay. He's the only one at 17, actually. Verlander, Urias, and Gonsolin are all at 16.
Okay. So what is Atlanta first 5 hook line and full game run line?
The full game run line is minus 105 for the Braves. The first 5 about minus 150 on it is minus 150 on FanDuel, a little higher elsewhere, I think. And then the hook minus 115 for the first 5.
You would expect a bounce back from Wright here. I like the edge there, but if you lengthen the game, Atlanta has a better back end than San Fran. So if you wanted to go full game, I understand it, but I would look for some progression from Wright here. But for everyone holding Verlander or Gonzalez tickets or me, we had a great start and our guys just hit the wall. I mean, I need a miracle. So, but it looks like it should be an Atlanta bounce back here. That's just what
yeah, for sure. 3 straight losses. San Francisco, 3 straight wins on their side. They, that's kind of the point where they lose 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 at the way they've been going all season long. So I'm with you there. But that is, I believe, the last game on the slate, my friend. Anything else to add before we get out of here?
Are you sticking with the Sheets, Homer, or do you have another one?
That was the one I liked the most. I was interested instead of Trout. Everyone's going to be going to Trout. Maybe Mr. Shoei gets a bomb there against the Tribe. There, I might be interested there. That was my other offering there. But Sheets, like I said, White Sox have been hitting the ball out of the park, and Sheets at home against righties has been decent bat for the most part, despite his full split numbers there. So I will go with Sheets, and maybe might be interested in Shoei a little bit also.
I talked about Freeman, and I'm going to stay late night. I'm going to go Soto. I'm going to go Soto here in the Seattle game to go yard against Gilbert. Low team total there. We'll see what happens there. So tomorrow, 10:20 is Julian Edlow from DraftKings. 1 o'clock will be Andrew McGinnis from Wager Talk. And you and I will get back here around 4:30 my time, give or take, and we'll work out another closing bell on Wednesday.
Sounds good to me, my friend.
So if you are wagering today, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up the phone. There is an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Riley care. We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. For myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one, the only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed day, a better evening, cash some tickets, and we'll see you here in the morning.